Hello DevOps people, how you doing? I'm Jochen, and on this stream I'm going to do a bit of infrastructure automation, DevOps topics of any kind, and some live coding using Chef, configuration management, and Ruby in general. Welcome to my stream, and welcome to all my new followers. Looks like my addition to the awesome streamers list was a full success, and my follow count kinda exploded, and I'm pretty happy about that. Even though I'm a bit more nervous now that quite a few more people will watch what I'm doing. Well, I'll do my best anyway. So, what are we going to do today? I've written a small text file to have some kind of an agenda, and whoops, apart from typo here, I realized, okay, there might be a better way to do this, and I actually had an idea. What about simply creating a Github repository, especially for this live stream? That way, not only will I have a Git repository that I can use to share code or do stuff, I'll also have an issue queue where, for example, I could simply maintain my topics for the upcoming episodes, and it'll also give you, the viewers, a way to respond to a live stream, to give me feedback, to ask questions about the things I did, or you could open new issues with questions you'd like to ask me, with topics you'd like me to tackle, or things like that. And so I guess this repository could open all kinds of opportunities. And that's the first thing I'm going to do today. So I go over to my GitHub account and create a new repository under my gvis username, and the repository is named DevOps. And how will I describe this? We'll simply use code and issues. Oh, issues would be the wrong word here. Code and comments on my weekly live coding stream on my Twitch account. Yeah, I'll initialize this with a readme so I can write a short description. And let's go and edit the readme file. This repository. I'm using this repository to share code with viewers of my weekly live coding stream. Feel free to. I'll post an agenda for each session as a new issue. Feel free to comment or create new issues with your questions and feedback. Okay. That's that. So, if you'd like to participate, go to github.com/gvis/devops with a 0 instead of an O, and simply leave me an issue there. And let's start with issue number 1. Topics for today. And we can use GitHub's nice checkmark syntax. Create GitHub repository for the stream. And now to the actual topics I'd like to do today. Last time I had been working on CI integration for a command line tool we are using internally at my company, and I used that for as an example how to integrate Ruby gem development with a CI system. It worked a bit, but I was able to resolve most of the issues, so I'd like to try and see if deploying a new gem version works. So we'll call that finish CI integration for FB tool. And then I have some development work to do, namely continue on the thread that I had over a few recent sessions where I developed a DNS chef cookbook, and I did this with the goal to get a DNS cookbook that we can actually use at the company. And I'll continue working on this today. I'll explain the details later. Okay, so build chef cookbook, first in box DNS, and that's that. One task down, 2 to go. All right. But first, before I start, the stream chat is yours, so feel free to say hi, feel free to comment on what I'm doing, and simply participate in the stream. How are you doing today? I'm feeling good. I've just returned from Germany, where I attended Drupal Camp Ruhr. I was invited to participate and give a presentation on Container, which is a Docker orchestration platform. Open source, you can find it on container.io, Kontena.io. And it's a pretty nice little orchestration tool for Docker containers. It's much more powerful than, say, Docker Compose, but much less complex than, for example, Kubernetes. So, yeah, we chose it as the first orchestration tool we are going to use with our more serious Docker usage. And I presented a few basics about container and tried to spread the word that there is good open source software out there that is not from Google. Okay, so let's get started with CI integration for FB tool. Okay, let's take a look at what I've done so far. So that's my Travis YAML file. It's a Ruby project, so I chose to test it with Ruby 242. In order to run my two bundle commands, I need to install bundler before, and then I can use bundle exec rake test and bundle exec rake build. These rake tasks do basically pretty much what they say. They run integration tests, and then they run a gem build. And if the current changes were pushed to the master branch with a tag attached, then I'll run the deploy part, which takes the gem that was built during rake build and pushes it to our gem repository on package cloud. In order to do so, I had to add a repository name, a username, and our token that we are going to use. And that token is connected to our user accounts, so it can only encrypt it if it's run from, in this case, my user account. And for the deployment task, we only use gem files. If there is any other package type file in there, which I don't expect to be, but anyway, it'll only deploy gem files. So, I've already pushed this branch, and Travis CI was okay with that, so both tests and build worked, but there was no deployment because I'm still using the CI setup branch. And now I'm going to merge this into the master branch. Let's see if we have a clean work tree. Yeah. So git checkout master, and let's do a short smart pull. Okay, that's fine. And now I can. I could merge it. Let's jump back to the CI setup branch and do a quick rebase from origin master. So we'll revert the first commit. We'll make this a fix-up. This fix-up probably we'll leave this commit in. So the first 4 commits will be a single commit for the CI setup, and then I had to fix a few things that prevented CI tests from running, mainly because we directly connected to our own chef server in the tool, and of course that's not possible from a CI system. So I had to disable a few things, and we'll need to work around that in the future. So let's add Travis CI configuration. Okay, now we can go into master, merge CI setup. We can push this branch. This should start a new CI run, but since I didn't set any tags, the deploy part shouldn't be enabled. Let's see if that's actually the case. Here's our new CI run. Hey Marcus, how you doing? So you did find the Bob Ross icon, which isn't quite appropriate. I just had a haircut a few days ago. Now let's see if this job will finish successfully without doing any deployment. Speaking of Bob Ross, there actually is a pretty hilarious trailer for Deadpool where Deadpool does a Bob Ross, and it's not particularly safe for work, but it's pretty funny. Isn't it amazing how doing IT is requires us to sit there and wait for stuff to run, if it's a chef run or in my case a CI job. Reminds me of the XKCD comic that I think you posted recently, waiting for a compile. Now come Travis, what's up? Build failing? No, it's not, is it? The job is queued, but not yet running. Well, okay, in the meanwhile, let's tackle the versioning part. I'll simply do a point level version bump. For which we have our version file. No, when I say point version, I should simply change this one. Well, it's not actually a point version, is it? Let's increase the minor one. At least we have added CI and stuff. So it's 020. That's that. Git tag 020. Come on, Trace, what's taking you so long? The previous runs didn't take that long. Let me go and check something off screen. Could be because my trial actually might have run out. So let me just see if I subscribe. Oh no, it's working. Okay, just took a while. Just when I threatened to throw money at the problem, it actually started to work. Okay, it's installing gems, then it's going to run the tests, build the gem, but it should not deploy the gem to our package cloud account. Okay, tests run successfully, and rake build also, and then it was done. That's brilliant. Okay, now let's see what happens if we push this branch with tags. Oh, yeah, all doesn't mean that it pushes code and tags. It means that it pushes all branches, and I won't be able to push the CI setup branch without forcing it. So I'll have to do this in 2 steps: git push and git push with the tags. This should result in, well, yeah, 2 jobs, of which I can cancel the first one because it didn't have any tags set, so we can go right into the second one. Yep, we have a tag V020. By the way, I looked around for ways to do this versioning, and there are a few nice little tools, and I found Git Bump, a gem by Tim Pope, who also did a lot of the Vim plugins I'm using, and I'll give this a try for maintaining these tags and actually have a changelog in the Git commits themselves. Looks like a simple way to go about this without over-engineering everything. In the end, I need some kind of way to make sure that the same version is in the version.rb file, it's tagged with the version, and it's has the version name in a commit. Hey Slayer, how you doing? You maintain a pretty cool, although 100% not popular Vim plugin. WebVal. Let's take a look at it. Just a second. We're waiting for Travis anyway. HTML and CSS validation. Nice. So you can basically run a validation right out of the editor while you're working on some front-end stuff. Good stuff. Why do you think it's not popular? Sounds pretty useful to me. I'm not doing any front-end development, basically. Yeah, well, some, but just not very regularly. I might even give your plugin a try. But good for you. Writing Vim plugins isn't trivial, is it? Yeah, as always, it's all about marketing. It's about getting the word out. Okie dokie. Let's take a look at our job queue. Not yet started. We might actually have to throw a bit of money at in the direction of Travis CI to speed this up. But let's wait for another minute while I'm filling out the subscription form. Yeah, Tim Pope is brilliant when it comes to Vim plugins. Really, let's just take a look at my dot files. Just a second. Okay, Travis is starting to work. So that's our company.file, endvice, Unic, Vim Fugitive, Vim Surround, Vim Ruby, all from Tim Pope. And in my private, in my personal file, there's another one, Tim's Vim Dispatch plugin. So yeah. He's really doing great work with Vim. Okay, job started, still working. Oh, bundle install didn't work. Okay, so the gemfile.lock doesn't work correctly. Let's take a look at that. install. Didn't we have a gem file.log? Oh, there is one. Okay, so we have a new one now. Okay, git tag minus dvo2, oops, 020. Update gems. It might be git ignored, but still, I wonder why bundle install did actually update stuff. Since these versions were already in the gemfile.log that at least I have here, so I wouldn't have. I didn't expect it to update gems, but yeah, why bother? So that's committed, and I'll do another tag. Git push with tags. Oh, okay, yeah. Git push. Origin vo20. Nope. You know what? I'll make a new tag. That's exactly why I want to have a bit of tooling around this versioning so that things get more consistent and simple. Okay, new tags, new code. jobs. Now let's see how this is working out. This time it only ran a test. No. It's actually deploying stuff. But invalid username exception. Okay. Okay, that's something I'll be able to fix off screen. I guess that's when it gets boring. But at least I got what I wanted, so that it actually tries to start a deployment if I push a branch, if I push the master branch with a tag. And it did build a gem, but I forgot to update the version file, so it built it as version 0.20. That's exactly why we need some more tooling for that, because getting this right every time will be asking a bit much. But if it's just a credentials issue, I won't do that on screen, especially since Package Cloud is a bit tricky with displaying tokens and keys right on screen as soon as you load a page. And I won't. Hey, just for fun, how you doing? What am I writing? So last time on this stream, I built the CI integration for a command line tool that we are using internally, or that we are building and going to use. And I'm just doing the finishing touches on that, so that when I push a new version to the master branch and I tag that new version, that TriCI not only runs the tests, but also does a deployment to our Ruby gems repository that we have on packagecloud.io. And the build process works. However, there are some username issues in my CI setup, and I'm going to solve them later, because debugging login stuff with repeated pushes and waiting for jobs to run is just a waste of time. Okay, so let's park this, but I'll be back on Thursday and I'll report to you how things went. We can close these tabs and go right to task number 3. Thanks for following Just for Fun. Great to have you on the stream. So what I'm going to do today is build a chef cookbook that allows us to take infrastructure data, so basically a list of servers that we are running, and if they belong to a certain domain, this chef cookbook will Slayer, you're completely making me lose my train of thought here. We'll be able to create the DNS entries that are necessary. For example, if we add new servers, we want them added to the domains SPF records, and that's what this cookbook is supposed to do. So what I'm going to do is close this tmux session, and I don't think I have one for my chef cookbooks running at the moment. So that's that. Let's start a new tmux session for this. And as you can see, I'm already in a branch Freistilbox DNS where I'm working on this. So here's my cookbook, and at the moment it doesn't do much, to be honest, because okay, Marcus, thanks for the feedback. It didn't even occur to me to look at their status page. So they are just backing up their queues a bit. But anyway, it actually told me that my trial was about to run out. So we would have to subscribe anyway. And yeah, we are going to use Travis for testing our cookbooks as well. Cookbooks like this. So it might make sense to make a small investment here. So, what is this cookbook doing? The default recipe doesn't do anything but delegate to the Freistilbox_net recipe. So let's close this again and look right into the Freistilbox_net recipe. And what it does is very basic. I simply tried to get the basic structure built, which is search for all chef nodes, so for all servers that are registered in our configuration management, and go through them and then start adding DNS entries using the NSDX cookbook that I built in previous sessions. So let's take a look at the NSDX cookbook. I actually exported it from our private cookbook repository and made it publicly available, and it's under Freistil /NSDX cookbook. And what it does is provide chef resources that we can use to add DNS records to a zone file, like this example recipe here does. So, let me think for a second. Yeah, let's simply try and run this. with the right kitchen YAML file. And let's see if we already have something in there. So there is already a converged instance running. Kitchen converge. Okay, so there isn't, it doesn't do anything because I think we don't have any nodes that this search could be able to find, and we'll have to provide them. So let's create a test subdirectory. And now how to add node information. I'll just look this up because it's been a few days since I did that the last time. Test kitchen node information search. There's kitchen nodes that actually creates nodes as running instances, but that's not what I need in this case. I just need some boilerplate stuff. Test kitchen. There is a way to add JSON files. I'm sure Marcus is jumping up and down already because he knows how to do it. Support for a test integration nodes directory where you can dump node JSON files representing other nodes in your environment. That's exactly what I was looking for. So test integration nodes, and then just add a few JSON files. Okay, let's do this test integration nodes, and then we can add 2 or 3 test nodes. So we'll simply use test1 underscore, not just test1 JSON. And we'll need an ID field that we call test1. We'll need a run list because that's the attribute we are actually searching. And the run list has to include a recipe, fries in box, web, for example. No, what are we actually looking for? First the box. So let's hard code this. And then, oh no, not to the run list, and we can't have a comma there, but in the attributes, there should be a fqdn. I'll have to add a few more fields later, probably, but let's see if this changes anything. Oops, preparing nodes. So I'd say something's wrong with my node file, but permission denied. You know what? I just have it recreate the container. Don't know if it needs a nuke and pave, but it could help. Again, if you have any questions about the things I'm doing here, or if you'd like me to explain something a bit more, simply let me know, ping me in the chat, and I'd be happy to talk about it. Still permission denied. That's strange. Seems as if it doesn't actually transfer the file into the test container, which might be because I don't have a test integration default directory, and I might not even have a kitchen file for that. Oh, no, I should have a kitchen file, but I might have to add a nodes directory entry, something like that. There is something test kitchen data bag directory, and probably there's something similar to it for nodes. So there has to be a data bags path in the suite. If you have data bags in your integration tests, and I guess it's a nodes path. Yep. Test integration nodes. And that's actually in the provisioner part. Yeah, that makes more sense than in the in each suite. So let's try and add a nodes path as test integration nodes. Maybe it should even be in test nodes. No, it will always be part of integration tests. So yeah, that makes sense. Okay, let's give it another try. I guess we can go back to simply running kitchen converge. But still, that's strange. Okay, fqdn is actually a top level entry, I guess. We can at least fix that. So it's not an automatic attribute, but still not doing it, huh? What's confusing me is that it actually looks for a test1 JSON, so it actually found the file. But didn't seem to have transferred it here. Well, let's do what it says and take a look at the kitchen log. What do we have here? Permission denied. FQDN is a normal attribute. Yeah, okay. I can fix that. However, I don't think it'll fix this error, because strangely it has permission denied. I might find something about this on the web. Okay, if you say it's a normal attribute, I'll move that and simply move this here. I don't expect this to work, but let's see. Test kitchen nodes permission denied. Yeah, permissions on temp kitchen directories prevent convergence. Here's actually an issue with the Docker provisioner I'm actually using. Okay, that's interesting. The issue is still new and it's still open. So this seems to be some kind of a bug. Let's see if we can get it to work by actually logging into the test container and changing the where does it deploy that stuff? Oh, it's the sandbox file it's using here. Oh, I see what's happening here. I actually can't access that file because it's creating it from or for Docker, and Docker actually has to run as root. I can get into here, I can get into Kitchen Sandbox, but if I try to go here, oh, it still works. But as you can see, the clients and the nodes directories are owned by root and only readable by root. Oh, that's certainly a bug, or at least something that we have to work around in a way. So let's simply do a change mod a plus w. Of course I have to use sudo for that. So let's see how this looks. Okay, that looks better. So let's try another converge. Still doesn't work. Let's see why. Ooh. It's FA292. This looks pretty strange. Does look better. Let's see if converge actually works. Still no output, so it doesn't seem to actually transfer the node, but oops. We should get some log output if I run the right chef log level. Unfortunately, there's another thing that duplicates every log output if I set the log level to info, but that's a minor inconvenience. So it still doesn't find any boxes. That's because, well, that's because I'm not sure if that node actually gets transferred into the test container. And if I start a new container, it'll probably create a new sandbox that has the wrong permissions, yada yada yada. Let's see. I hate it when that happens. Just tools not working as they are intended to do. Holds up development quite badly. Well, it said preparing nodes. This time it seemed to have run. Okay. Well, you know what? We'll simply extend the search. Thanks, Marcus. Take care. We'll extend the search a bit so that it will take each and every node we have. Oop. Let's not create a new machine. Instead, convert the existing test container. Now it found two boxes, namely my test container and the dummy entry. That's adding, and I guess the test container doesn't have an FQDN, and then it adds my test container. So it's just simply the search that somehow fails. And it might be because of the backslashes I had been using. No, I need to use backslashes here. But maybe I have to actually have a recipes attribute. That might be the most probable cause. So let's go in here and add. I guess that's an automatic attribute, because normally they're created by chef, and so there has to be an array of recipes, which should be basically a duplicate of what we have up here. Now it found one box, and that's exactly what I wanted. So this is working. Just to reiterate, normally in a chef node you simply define the run list. And the run list can consist of recipes, or it can consist of roles. And roles can again have a list of recipes. And that's why chef compiles a full list of recipes, the ones I had included in the run list and the other ones that got brought in by roles. So I have a single array of all the recipes that are involved in this chef run. And normally chef provides this recipes attribute for me, but since we don't have any nodes here which don't have actual chef clients, I have to bake this myself and include it here. But yeah, so far so good. So we can start and say, okay, so if we have a box that is found here, we can actually do an SPF record like this. Wait a minute. Well, let's finish that train of thought. Oh, of course I have to add all the boxes to the policy of this SPF record. So, okay, let's try something else. So the host would be box host name. I just realized that the problem I actually have is a bit more complex than I anticipated because of the domains that are involved. But yeah, I'll have to think about that a bit more. Going into this, I thought, well, it's just a loop and we'll add that to the SPF record of the domain, but I didn't think that the domain for which this node has to be added varies because it depends on the websites that we host on these machines. So it's a bit more complex, and yeah, I'll definitely have to think about this some more. But let's see if this actually works and creates some kind of SPF record here. So the box actually needs a host name, and I guess that should be part of the normal attributes. Host name. Okay, now it actually created a SPF record. Okay, and we even should be able to create a zone file in the end. So after we've processed all the nodes we found, we can use NSDX zone to write a zone file, and then we can include, no, we're good, but I'll have to include recipe NSDX default. this recipe does all the basic setup for the NSD DNS server. Then we create our zone information, and in the end we'll write out a zone file for frystylebox.net. And this should work. However, it doesn't. There is undefined local variable NSD zone dir. There's an error in the Dx Cookbook itself. Interesting. Okay, that's something I'll have to debug. NSD zone dir doesn't work if you call it from outside the cookbook. Okay. But since I'm going to finish at 5, which is only 12 minutes from now, I guess I'll do the debugging offline. So just to recap what we did today. What did we do? I created a GitHub repository to which I'd like to invite you. It's exactly this one here, gvis /devops with a 0. It has its own issue queue. That's the main reason I created it. And in this issue queue, I'll create issues for each of my sessions with a kind of an agenda. And feel free to comment with your feedback, with your questions, anything you'd like to tell me about. And if there is something that you have on your mind, if there's a topic that you'd like to suggest or something in that regard, simply use the issue queue as well and open a new issue and write to me, and I'll be happy to respond there. That way we can have something like a simple forum where we can discuss things, and I don't have to do it all by one-to-one email or something like that. If you liked what I did, please follow the stream and tell your friends and colleagues. I hope what I'm doing here is valuable for you. Even though from time to time I'm going to run into things like this where some kind of bug blocks things. I'll make an effort of continuing this on Thursday, and I hope I'll be able to present you with a working recipe and be able to explain to you how things worked out. If there's nothing else, I'd say until Thursday, take care, and see you soon. Thanks.